Police framed a black teenage boy, but his bodycam records will not only reveal the truth but also ignite a chain of events that would upend the entire system of power and justice. This story is not just a clash between individuals but a striking reflection of how power and justice can be overturned in a single unexpected moment. But before diving into the gripping details of the story, don't forget to share where you're watching and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with more exciting content. The flashing red and blue lights painted the rain-soaked streets of South Haven in dizzy strokes. Officer Mark Latham tightened his grip on the wheel, jaw set like stone. Dispatch had reported a stolen car, silver Honda Civic, plates matching one seen outside a convenience store robbery 2 hours ago. He spotted it parked behind a cracked brick building, headlights dimmed. A figure stepped out, a tall black teenager in a hoodie, clutching a backpack. "Show me your hands," Latham barked, already stepping out, gun drawn. The boy froze, eyes wide with fear. I didn't do anything." Latham's pulse thundered in his ears. This was his chance to prove himself after that suspension, the one nobody let him forget. He'd show them he was still a damn good cop. But something in the kid's eyes flickered, panic, yes, but also innocence. Latham pushed it down. "He fits the description. Hands on the hood." The boy obeyed. Latham yanked the backpack open. Inside, schoolbooks, a half-eaten sandwich, and, Latham blinked, nothing else. "Where's the cash?" Latham hissed. "The stolen wallet?" "I don't know what you're talking about." Something in him snapped. Rage, pride, fear, all tangled. He glanced at his chest. The small, blinking red light on his bodycam stared back like an accusing eye. And then, almost without thinking, he reached up and pressed pause. No more blinking light. Just silence. Minutes later, the boy lay in handcuffs, face streaked with mud and tears. A small bag of rolled bills, Latham's evidence, sat conveniently at his feet. Later, at the station, the boy's name went into the report: Jamal Carter, 17. Suspect in armed robbery. Latham turned in his paperwork with a calm, practiced smile. But what he didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was that his bodycam hadn't really stopped recording. The button jammed, a glitch the department had been warned about but ignored. Every second, every word, every false command, every sound of the boy's trembling breath, was still there. The next morning, a young officer named Maria Torres was assigned to upload footage from the night before. She clicked through Latham's files absent-mindedly, until she heard it. The voice. The lies. The cruel calm in Latham's tone. Her heart pounded as she replayed it, over and over. The audio was crystal clear. "Dispatch, this is Officer Latham. Suspect resisted arrest. Evidence recovered." A pause. The click of the paused button. Then silence, except for Latham's voice, low, shaking. "Nobody's gonna believe you, kid." Torres covered her mouth, trembling. She glanced toward the hallway, where Latham was laughing with the sergeant, drinking bad coffee, like nothing happened. She downloaded the footage onto a flash drive and slipped it into her pocket. Her mind was racing. What if the others were in on it? What if she went to internal affairs and it disappeared? That night, she drove home in the dark, checking her rearview mirror every few seconds. At a stoplight, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Delete the footage. Now." Her breath caught. She looked around, but the street was empty. Then her dashboard camera flickered to life, unprompted, the screen flashing static before a video began to play. It was the same footage, Latham's bodycam file, except this time, it didn't stop where she thought it had. The final seconds showed something new. Someone else stepping into frame. Someone wearing a police badge. And then, black screen. Maria Torres's heart hammered as the video froze on that single frame, the shadowed figure stepping out from behind the patrol car, rain glinting off a badge pinned to their chest. The timestamp blinked in the corner, 2:14 a.m., just minutes after Latham claimed he'd taken Jamal into custody. But she hadn't seen anyone listed in the report for backup. Her trembling fingers brushed the screen as if touching it could make sense of what she was seeing. The figure leaned close to Latham, their voice barely audible over the rain, low, gravelly, familiar. "You know what to do. We can't have this one getting out of hand again." Then static. Then silence. Maria's stomach turned. Again? She replayed the moment, frame by frame. A faint glimmer reflected off the stranger's shoulder patch, lieutenant's insignia. Her blood ran cold. There was only one lieutenant on shift that night. Lieutenant Ross Baker. Her mentor. The man who had vouched for her transfer. The one who'd told her, on her first day, in this department, loyalty keeps you alive. Now, loyalty felt like a noose tightening around her throat. She pocketed the flash drive and shut off her laptop. She needed air and distance. But as she stepped outside, the night felt heavier than usual. Streetlights flickered. A cruiser idled 2 blocks down, engine running but lights off. Her phone buzzed again. "Last warning, Torres. Don't make this mistake." She froze. Her throat was dry, her breath shallow. Someone was watching her, someone who knew exactly where she was. Maria ducked into her car and started the engine, heart pounding. She had to think fast. Internal affairs was risky. If Baker was involved, the evidence could vanish before she even reached the door. She needed someone outside the department. Someone clean. And then she remembered Jamal's mother. She'd come to the station crying, begging to see her son, swearing he was innocent. They'd turned her away. Maria pulled out of the lot, tires skidding over wet asphalt, and headed toward the address on Jamal's intake form. She parked down the street from a small brick house. The porch light was still on. When Jamal's mother answered the door, her eyes were red and swollen. "Officer Torres? What do you want now? Haven't you people done enough?" Maria swallowed hard, voice trembling. "Ma'am, I need you to listen carefully. I have something you need to see." She handed her the flash drive. "Your son's bodycam footage. Don't trust anyone at the station. I'm not sure how long I can." A crash echoed down the street, the sound of tires screeching and doors slamming. Maria turned. 2 black SUVs with tinted windows were pulling up fast. "Go inside," she whispered, shoving the flash drive into the woman's hand. "Hide that. No matter what happens." Then the headlights flared, blinding her. A voice boomed through the rain. "Officer Torres. Step away from the house." She raised her hand slowly, heart thundering. The voice was unmistakable. Lieutenant Baker. He stepped into the glow of the headlights, rain dripping from his cap, a faint smile playing at his lips. "You should have listened when I told you about loyalty." Behind him, another door opened. And from the back seat of the SUV, Officer Latham stepped out. Alive. Calm. Smiling. Maria's pulse roared in her ears. She backed toward the porch, desperate, trapped. And then, from somewhere inside the house, a voice broke through the noise. A voice she wasn't supposed to hear. "Mom? Who's out there?" It was Jamal. Alive. Rain hammered the roof like 1,000 whispered warnings. Maria froze on the porch steps, her eyes darting toward the doorway where Jamal stood, pale, trembling, alive. "Why, you're supposed to be in custody," she breathed, unable to process what she was seeing. His mother clutched his arm protectively. "They said he was transferred. They told me he was being held in county lockup for his own safety. But 2 nights ago, they dropped him off here. Said not to talk to anyone." Behind Maria, Lieutenant Baker's voice sliced through the storm. "Maria! Step away from the door." Her hand hovered near her belt, but she didn't reach for her weapon. There was no point, not against them. Latham moved closer, his smirk visible even through the rain. "You think you're the first one to grow a conscience, Torres? We've been cleaning up mistakes like you for years." Jamal's mother gripped Maria's sleeve and pulled her inside. "They can't come in without a warrant," she hissed. Maria slammed the door, twisting the lock, but her mind was racing. Why would they release Jamal if they were covering their tracks? Unless... She turned to him. "Jamal, when they brought you here, did they say anything else?" He nodded slowly. "One of them, not the one with the big scar, the other guy said, 'Your part's over. Keep your mouth shut, and your mom stays safe.'" A chill slid down Maria's spine. "Your part?" Jamal hesitated, then stepped closer. "There's something you need to see." He disappeared into his room and came back holding an old, dented phone. The screen was cracked, but it lit up when he pressed the power button. "I found this in the back of the patrol car they dumped me in," he said quietly. It was recording the whole time. Maria took it, scrolling through the videos. The last one stopped her cold. The thumbnail showed a dimly lit office, a familiar one. The chief's office. She pressed play. The camera wobbled, as if hidden under a desk. The voices were muffled but clear enough. "Chief Donnelly, if that footage leaks, we're all done. The grant money, the partnerships, everything. Baker, it won't. Latham's handled. The rookie's too scared to talk. Donnelly, good. Then bury it. And make sure the next file upload goes through the filter. I don't want another." A sudden knock on the office door in the video made both men look up. The camera shifted, catching a reflection in the window before the screen cut to black. Maria's heart stopped. The reflection wasn't Baker. It wasn't Donnelly. It was her. She was standing in the hallway outside that office, the same night she'd been called in for routine evidence transfer. Her fingerprints were on that evidence box. The one containing Latham's footage. "Oh my God," she whispered. "They're framing me." From outside, glass shattered. The front window exploded inward, shards scattering across the living room floor. "Down!" Maria shouted, dragging Jamal and his mother to the ground as a flashbang rolled across the carpet and burst into blinding light. Through the haze, the door splintered open. Heavy boots stormed inside. Maria reached for the phone, the only proof she had, but a gloved hand snatched it from the floor before she could grab it. She looked up. Latham stood over her, smiling, phone in hand. "You should have stopped when you had the chance." Then, behind him, another voice, calm, chilling, unmistakable, spoke from the doorway. "That's enough." Everyone froze. Even Baker turned toward the figure stepping out of the rain. The room fell silent except for the soft crackle of the broken glass underfoot. Maria blinked through the smoke, trying to make out the face, and when she did, her breath caught. It was someone she hadn't seen in months. Someone everyone believed was dead. "Put the gun down, Lieutenant," the figure said. "We're not done yet." It was Captain Reese. The whistleblower who'd committed suicide during the last corruption probe. Rain hissed through the gaping doorway as Captain Daniel Reese stepped into the ruined living room. He was thinner than Maria remembered, his face drawn and pale beneath the flickering lights, but his eyes, those sharp, steel-gray eyes, were alive. Alive, and burning with something dangerous. Latham stumbled back, his grip tightening on the stolen phone. "You're supposed to be dead," he breathed. Reese's voice was calm, steady. "A rumor I was happy to let circulate." He looked from Latham to Baker, then to Maria crouched by the couch. "Seems like it served its purpose." Baker's hand twitched near his weapon. You shouldn't be here, Dan. You had your chance to walk away. Reese smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. And missed the grand finale? He turned to Maria. You've done well. Better than I expected. Maria stared at him, dazed. You expected this? What's going on? Reese knelt beside her, his coat dripping water onto the shattered glass. Listen carefully. The corruption you've seen, Latham, Baker, Donnelly, it's just the surface. This department's been laundering federal grant money through fake training programs for years. Anyone who got close disappeared. I tried to expose it. They staged my death. Baker's laugh was harsh and ugly. You always thought you were the hero. But heroes don't win in this city. Reese didn't even look at him. You framed a teenager and nearly killed an officer to protect a bank account, Ross. Don't talk to me about winning. Maria's mind reeled. If all this is true, why me? Why send me into this? Reese met her gaze. Because you were the only one who didn't owe anyone here a favor. No debts, no ties. Clean. That made you their easiest scapegoat, he paused, and my last chance. Before Maria could respond, the faint hum of static filled the room. Reese glanced down at his wristwatch, a small black device that wasn't showing the time. Latham frowned. What the hell is that? Reese's lips curved. Insurance. The watch emitted a soft beep, and a light blinked green. Somewhere in the distance, sirens began to wail. Back up? Maria whispered. Reese shook his head. Not ours. Baker cursed, yanking his radio. Command, this is Lieutenant Baker. Static. Nothing. Then the televisions in the room flickered to life, every screen, every tablet, even the laptop on the counter. And there it was. Latham's bodycam footage. Uncut. Unedited. Uploaded. Broadcast live across every local news station. Baker's face turned ashen. No. No, that's not possible. We wiped the servers. Reese rose slowly, his eyes locked on the screen. You wiped the department's servers. Not the backups I made before you tried to kill me. The door to the house was still open, rain slanting in. Blue lights danced in the distance, growing brighter. Baker drew his gun, desperate. You think this ends with a broadcast? You think you can stop what's coming? Reese took a step forward. It's already stopped, Ross. You just don't know it yet. Suddenly, a gunshot cracked through the air. Maria dropped to the floor as splinters burst from the wall beside her. She turned. Reese had stumbled back, blood blooming on his shoulder. Latham stood behind him, breathing hard, gun smoking. You're not taking me down again. Before Maria could move, Latham grabbed the phone from the floor and bolted through the back door into the rain. Reese groaned, gripping his shoulder. Go, he hissed. The phone's the key, it holds the rest of the files. If they get that data back, everything we've done is for nothing. Maria hesitated, torn between helping him and chasing Latham. Reese's eyes met hers, pleading, urgent. Trust me. You'll know where to go. She ran. Bursting into the storm, she saw Latham sprinting down the alley, headlights flashing off wet brick. He ducked into a car, engine roaring to life. Maria jumped into her cruiser and gunned it, tires screaming as she followed. The radio crackled to life, only one line of static and then a voice. Officer Torres, turn back. This is bigger than you think. It wasn't Baker. It wasn't Latham. It wasn't Reese. The voice was female. Cold. Familiar. Maria's stomach dropped as realization hit her. It was Chief Donnelly's secretary, the one who'd handled every evidence transfer, every internal memo. The woman everyone ignored. "We know where you're going," the voice said. "And we'll be waiting." Maria slammed her foot on the gas as the highway opened ahead, rain lashing the windshield. In the distance, lightning illuminated a lone building on a hill, the old training facility, long abandoned after a fire years ago. Her destination. Her trap. The storm followed her like a living thing. Rain lashed the windshield, lightning tore open the sky, and the skeletal outline of the Ridgepoint training facility rose on the hill ahead, black windows, charred walls, and the faint smell of smoke that never truly left after the fire 5 years ago. Maria gripped the steering wheel tighter. Her sirens were off. Her heart wasn't. Inside her cruiser, Reese's blood still stained her sleeve. His voice echoed in her head, "You'll know where to go." As she reached the gates, a flicker of headlights flashed behind her, then disappeared. Someone was following. She stepped out into the rain, her boots sinking into the mud, and drew her gun. The wind howled through the broken rafters of the training hall. Every creak sounded like a whisper. Every shadow, like it might move. And then, a sound. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. "Drop the weapon, Torres," came the familiar, measured voice. Chief Donnelly stepped out of the darkness, umbrella in hand, as calm as if he were attending a press conference instead of a crime scene. His immaculate white shirt glowed in the flashes of lightning. "You've caused quite a mess," he said, his tone somewhere between disappointment and amusement. "Footage leaks, officers exposed, a dead lieutenant, and now, you." Maria steadied her aim. "Where's Latham?" Donnelly smirked. "Cleaning up what's left of your evidence. The phone, I'm afraid, didn't survive the weather." A faint buzzing filled the air. Maria's eyes darted upward, drones hovered near the ceiling, their red lights blinking. "You think this is about one body cam, Officer Torres?" Donnelly asked, stepping closer. "You think you've uncovered corruption?" "No. You've exposed a system. And systems don't fall because of one honest cop." "Then why are you here?" she demanded. He smiled thinly. "Because I like to watch problems disappear personally." Maria's finger tightened on the trigger. "You killed Reese. You framed Jamal. And you think you're walking away from this?" "Oh, Maria," he said softly, almost pitying. "I didn't kill Reese." "You did." She froze. He pulled something from his coat pocket, a small device. He pressed play. Her own voice filled the air, distorted but clear. "Reese, get down." "No, please, don't make me." Gunshot. The sound tore through the hall. Maria's breath caught. "That's not real." Donnelly tilted his head. "It will be. By morning." The drones descended, cameras whirring. One flashed a red beam, recording. Maria fired. The first shot hit a drone, sending sparks into the air. Another whirled closer, she shot again. Glass shattered, alarms blared, and chaos erupted. "Stop her!" Donnelly shouted. From the far end of the hall, Latham appeared, soaked and wild-eyed, clutching a pistol in one hand and a half-burned phone in the other. "The files," he started, but then lightning struck nearby, the flash lighting his face, terror carved into every line. The phone in his hand began to vibrate. He looked down. The screen, shattered and waterlogged, flickered once, and then displayed a single line of text. "Uploading. 97%. Latham's eyes widened. What did you do?" Maria didn't answer. She just smiled through the rain. "Insurance. Reese's insurance. The watch. The backup signal." It hadn't just broadcast the footage, it had cued every hidden file from his encrypted network. The confession videos. The payoffs. The missing reports. All of it. Latham turned to Donnelly, panic breaking his voice. "It's sending everything to the press servers." "Then stop it," Donnelly roared. But it was too late. The final tone rang out, a soft chime under the thunder. "Upload complete." Maria exhaled, lowering her gun. "It's over." Donnelly's face twisted with rage. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "Yes," she said. "I told the truth." He lunged for her, but before he reached her, the floor beneath them cracked. The old fire-damaged beams gave way, and the world split open in a burst of heat and light. The training hall collapsed, flames blooming upward as if the storm itself had sparked it alive again. Maria hit the ground hard, coughing, the air thick with smoke. Somewhere to her left, she heard Donnelly shouting, then the roof caved in. She crawled toward the exit, the heat biting her skin, lungs burning. Her hand brushed something, the burned phone, still faintly glowing. She grabbed it, stumbled out into the rain, and collapsed in the mud as the building roared behind her. Sirens wailed in the distance, real ones this time. Blue and red lights cut through the smoke. Officers swarmed the hill, firefighters racing past her. As they helped her to her feet, Maria looked back one last time at the inferno that had swallowed everything, the lies, the men, the ghosts. A paramedic asked softly, "Are you all right, officer?" She nodded faintly. "I will be." But as they led her to the ambulance, she glanced at the phone in her hand, the screen cracked, smoke curling from its edges. And just before it died, one final notification flashed. One new message, unknown sender, "You did good, Torres." But it's not over. Maria's blood went cold. She looked up at the horizon, the storm still raging. Somewhere, in the distance, another light blinked. Another camera. Another secret waiting to surface. The city of South Haven no longer slept as soundly as it used to. The headlines had shattered its silence. Police corruption network exposed. Leaked footage sparks federal investigation. Chief Donnelly and Officer Latham presumed dead in fire. Maria Torres sat alone on a park bench overlooking the river, the skyline reflecting on the dark water like ghosts of the world she'd helped set on fire. Her arm was still in a sling, and the faint scar on her cheek glowed under the streetlights, a reminder of Ridgepoint, of what it cost to tell the truth. Her phone buzzed. Another reporter request. Another interview she wouldn't give. She was tired of microphones. Tired of questions. Tired of being called a hero. She took a slow sip of coffee and stared at the folded letter in her pocket, the official one from the Department of Justice. "You are cleared of all charges." It should have felt like victory. It didn't. Because someone was still missing. Captain Daniel Reese. His body had never been found among the wreckage. No trace, no remains, not even a badge. Just gone. The authorities had declared him dead, again. But Maria wasn't convinced. As the wind picked up, she reached into her bag for her phone, the replacement phone. The old one had melted into silence the night of the fire. Except, not completely. 3 nights ago, a technician from the forensics team had returned it to her, whispering, "This thing's weird, Torres." It powered on once, by itself, then shut off again. Like it was waiting for you. She hadn't touched it since. Until now. Maria laid the burnt phone on the bench beside her. The screen was cracked, but when she pressed the power button, it lit up. A faint glow. A single message. "Unknown sender, look up." Her breath caught. She lifted her gaze. Across the river, the digital billboard above City Hall flickered, the one that usually played ads and weather alerts. Now, it glowed white, then filled with static. And then, words appeared, bold and sharp against the night sky. Ridgepoint was only the beginning. Watch your back. Maria's hand trembled around the phone. The message vanished. The billboard went dark. But as she stared into the reflection on the water, she saw movement behind her. A man, in a long coat, walking away down the empty street. His limp was familiar. His silhouette, unmistakable. Captain Reese. Before she could call out, a passing truck roared between them, and when it was gone, so was he. Only a single envelope lay where he'd stood, weighed down by a spent shell casing. Maria picked it up and tore it open. Inside was a flash drive. And a handwritten note. If you're reading this, they've already started over. There's a second list, names you never saw. They're not done. Neither are we. Her pulse quickened. She looked toward the skyline, a city trying to pretend it wasn't built on ashes. Somewhere out there, more truth waited. More lies. More ghosts. Maria slipped the flash drive into her pocket, rose from the bench, and walked into the fog. As thunder rumbled far off, a distant camera lens blinked red from across the river. Recording. Watching. Waiting.